doing this, but you know, better late than never. But I said I'd do a walk around of this thing, so I will. That's exactly how it's going to be when I race it. Like, it's got an invisible fuel tank. No, it hasn't really. So the I've said in other like posts and stuff like that, like written posts, and I put a video on Instagram a while back of what this actually is. It's an FZR400. It's a 1987 1WG, or at least that's what it started like anyway. So it was donated to me by me, my uncle for free, very kindly. Thanks, mate. And basically, I had the job of turning it into something. There is a picture on the Instagram, which I'll post on the Facebook as well, actually, I think, because I'll be posting this video on Facebook too, to show what it actually kind of started trying to build it a while back, like 2016, 17, whatever it was. And then it just got left. And come back to it in 2019, I think it was, when I eventually brought it to my place. So it started out as the FZR, and the middle bit, pretty much, well, the middle bit and the rear subframe is still FZR400 completely. It's just a modified, basically hacksawed and re-welded bits and pieces on it, just to save a bit of weight and just to. Didn't need some of the relays. The overflow bottle for the radiator is now moved to the front, so that used to be at the back of the bike of all places, which a lot of these old bikes have things in weird places. But so that was cut down, and we made it, and kind of got me my good mate Nick from the place that I work to re-weld it all up for me. So frame and rear subframe FZR400. Swing arm is Yamaha TRX 850 with a Thundercat rear wheel, but apparently the TRX wheel is exactly the same. But you need the space, the TRX spaces, the Thundercat spaces aren't big enough to work with it. But the Thundercat wheel, which is the 4JH wheel, I think, or something like that, if you know your bikes. This was harder to actually do than turned out to be for me, for whatever reason. I don't really know why. Maybe it's because it's a really early FZR400 that I was trying to do it on. I got really good information from I think her name's Michaela Kiernan. I think she's on the Facebook page for the FZR400 and stuff, but I emailed her because I'd seen a post on a forum about converting the rear, because the whole point of this really is the 17-inch wheel, because the standard wheels are 18-inch, and all the tyres now are just, you can't get a decent tyre to race on for an 18-inch wheel. Not really anyway. So I mean, some people do, but I think the range of rubber you've got with having a 17-inch wheel is far better. So yeah, TRX 850 swing arm, that's a CBR 1000 RR rear shock, 2004 to 2006. Yeah, it is 6, because that's when the shocks that mount on these need the clevis type mount. I'll try and get in there and show you, but it's like a fork. You can see it there, look. So after that, on the CBR, specifically on the Fireblade, they went to just the eyelet, so you couldn't use that. So a lot of people put the R6, I think it's the 13S rear shock in this, which is great, but because people use them for everything, the prices of them are just ridiculous. I paid about £30 for that shock or something like that. Not done anything to it yet. It's as it came off. It could have 100,000 miles on that shock for all I know. Don't think it has, because it feels pretty stiff, and it is given some kind of response. So I think it was, you know, not relatively low mileage, but it's all right anyway. Start with that. It's still development, and we're still developing it. Even after, when we go to this first race, it'll still be developing. So that mounts pretty well. The bottom clevis thing needs drilling out to take the 12mm bolt that the FZR has for the shock linkage, and the top, if you see in there, is actually narrower than the standard mount. So the top hat bushers, which sit inside the standard mount and take the gap up and reduce the diameter of the bolt, So you can use the Fireblade bolt to an M10, so 10mm, 10mm thick bolt straight through, and then that's bolted up nicely, and that's fine. And it fits absolutely fine, no problem with it. Rear sets are race products off eBay. It's just like what you want, you know what I mean? Set of rear sets, perfect, does what they say on the tin, you know what I mean? They just work. They look nice, nothing too fancy. It's only a little old 400 anyway, But. So, what else? Where are we? It's got a straight through stainless steel system with, won't be able to see from here, but that's a Lextech can on that straight through system. Pod filters. I see a lot of things about pod filters mentioned about these bikes, saying, "Oh, you can't run pod filters on them. You can never get it running right." If you're willing to take the bike to a professional dyno place, these are no problem. You can run these all day. This is set up now with a nice linear. It's got a little dip here and there on the power curve, but nothing major. And it's doing 60 at the wheel, so a whopping 60 brake horsepower at the wheel. But that's healthy for considering how old it is, and the engines are old, and it's quite healthy for there's nothing done to the engine. The engine's standard, so it's just the system, the pod filters, the can, given the power. So what else do we do? Obviously the tank isn't on, so I'll split this video and show you the tank, because I had to mount the fuel pump underneath the tank. The tank is a Thundercat tank, which fits really well for some mad reason. Loads of Thundercat things fit on this really well, and I had to create a bracket to allow the fuel pump to mount to it, because there's nowhere else to mount the fuel pump, because normally the fuel pump would mount to the standard tank. So I had to make something up for that, but it works. There's space in there and it all works fine and stuff. Under the seat there is just here, you can see it's not there at the moment, but the battery will sit there. And then I've had this little hook, which is for some of the old wiring loom that I don't use anymore. I've had that welded, as you can see, just tacked there, and then just got a battery strap over there which will keep it still. And then just under the seat is the bare bones wiring that you need, really. A few relays, starter solenoid, CDI and reg, which is at the back mounted at about here. There's a plate where it finishes there mounted underneath, and that's that. Simple. What else have we got? Chinese special clip-ons. They're just with the Chinese stuff. I know there's a big thing with hit and miss Chinese stuff. Oh, I'd never use it. Oh, I'd use some of it. For me, I'd use anything like that, but I wouldn't use anything electronic. Through not my personal experience, but someone I know. The steering damper was a funny thing, because I asked this question on the FZR400 Facebook page, how people have mounted them, and I was ready to drill the frame and put like a riv nut in, and then have the the fork adapter thing. But someone sent me a picture of the factory race mount for a steering damper, and it's literally one of them. I made that out of, I think that's 4mm or 5mm thick aluminium, and I just bent it in a vise over and then lined it up. I've got the picture myself. It basically just is that, except I think on their one they have a bearing kind of drilled in to just allow it to the way it's mounted. It's just to help with the pivot or something. I don't know, but that seems to be working fine. That time will tell. Obviously, get it on track and see what happens. The front subframe is the BB Plastics SV650 subframe for this fairing to mount to. This is for this fairings for the SV650, but I saw it fitted on another bike again on the 400 Facebook page. Anyone watching this video who might be on the page by chance, because I have posted on there, it's the red one. I think the fella's name's Mike. I did message him about it actually to see how difficult it was to fit, because I was going to fit an R6 fairing. That's an R6 rear seat. I had the whole R6 fit, and I just couldn't get it to work. And I haven't got like a machine shop or anything, so I was having to just bend aluminium and try and make it work and bolt bits together to try and make it work. It just wasn't happening at all. So I asked Mike from the Facebook page, and he said, yeah, it fits really well, surprisingly. You just got to make little brackets and stuff, which I've done. So that's an SV650 fairing, which fits dead nicely around the bike. Had to cut a few bits out just for the engine, because the engine casings are a bit wide. So on this side, I've had to just use a Dremel just to make a bit of space for that engine casing there, and then the starter gear casing down there. You can see that I had to do the same thing there just to make a bit of space for that to poke out. But you can see now it sits pretty well on the bike, and I think it looks proper cool, which is what I was after. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, you know, original fairings and stuff with these things, and if that's the way you want it, but I just wanted it to look a bit more modern, which I think it does look a bit more modern like that. So the lines are pretty good, and I was happy with it. I just about had enough room at the front wheel there. You can see how close it is, but it just sits nicely where, and I checked, and you can get a tyre warmer around it, so that's all that really matters, isn't it? What else have we got on it? Upgraded lines, obviously they're done. Thundercat front end, they're Thundercat forks, Thundercat yokes, they bolt straight in, you don't need to do anything. Top and bottom yokes and the forks. Thundercat brakes, but they're the blue pot, they're on loads of things, but the same thing. So it's a Thundercat front wheel. Actually, it's not, it's a Thunder, interestingly, that's actually a Thunder race front wheel, and I took a chance on it, thinking it's probably the same, and it turns out it is exactly the same. So even though the part numbers are slightly different, but the only part of the part number that's different is the code for the bike. The rest of the numbers are exactly the same, so that fits absolutely perfect. So it's got the race tyres on now. I found them Pirelli Diablo Rosso Corsa, so they're not quite a super Corsa, but they're a race version of the Diablo, I think is what they are. And they were saying, well, I got them for 130 quid. Was well made up with them, brand new. What else have we got? It's not, there's nothing overly technical going on. It's like in there, I've still got to fit the clocks in, but I know how I'm going to do that. And the throttle's a 3TJ throttle. What else? It's got a Brembo RCS master cylinder. I had that because I used to have a Fireblade road bike, and that was on that, so I had it just sitting there. I was like, yeah, we'll throw that on it, and it looks pretty good though. It really is. It really has pushed my patience to the limit. Trying to, you know, it's difficult. You take these all, but anyone who does this to all bikes knows it. You know, you're trying to make things fit, trying to force things fit. You know, bolt this here, bolt that there, trial and error. Oh, we'll give this a go, give that a go, and then eventually you get there, and we're nearly there. You know, I'd have liked to have tested it before this race. I think the only test I'm going to get at all on this bike is on the road. It is insured, actually. That's why the number plate's on it, because all the numbers are still intact, and I've got the logbook for it. Because that was the kind of idea I wanted was, well, I'll just break the you know, bed the brakes in and scrub the tyres in on the road, which I probably would have rushed to do by now, only for the fact it's been shit weather. So I was like, no, well, I'll just take my time and get everything sorted. So, and you know, it basically is like I'm made up without. Really pleased with how it looks, to be fair. I didn't paint that wheel, by the way. That's how it came, which I don't think it looks totally bad, but it'll probably get a lick of paint at some point. ACU standard shark fin, which I'm a bit tentative with, to be honest. If anyone looks at it who races, I think that's enough. But I know how scrutineering can be sometimes, and the fellas are only there obviously to keep everyone safe, and I'm just looking at it, and there's a bit of a gap. I think it's okay, but if there's any scrutineers that watch the video, give us a shout and let me know. I don't think there's anything else really to say about it, really. It's got a standard radiator. Steve at Motrack did say to me, you know, you might have some heating issues, but I won't know until it's try it. And to be fair to him, he had it on the dyno for a while. He said there was no issues. It didn't overheat at all, and there's no fan on it. It's running without a fan, so for it to not overheat, you know, I was pretty pleased to hear that. Like, so that's about it. It's going to be getting raced the way it looks as well. I might throw some more paint on the seat unit, that's about it, but that'll be staying white. I've ordered blue vinyl for the number boards. Get the numbers when we get to the circuit. That's about it. That's about it. Gearing 1447 at the minute, I think. I've got a few spare sprockets, but I think I did read someone say about Three Sisters gearing, said on the 400 it's 1447, so you can play with that a little bit if I need to, but yeah, that's that. I know I mentioned about this video, and I knew it'd be because I know what I'm like, and I know I'll go on and on about shit, but because I'm really into it. I love talking about it, and I love talking about it because, you know, I've taken something that was a piece of shit basically and turned it into something that, I'm not saying it's not a piece of shit still, I'm just saying it doesn't look like a piece of shit anymore. Who knows what it's going to be like when we get to the track, but hopefully, fingers crossed, I think it's going to run okay. We have a decent run out on it. Not expecting miracles. It's been a while since I've raced. Been on track plenty, but it's been a long time since I've raced. And I'm confident in myself, but need to bed in, give myself a bit of time. These lads on the 400, the Three Sisters, you know, they've all been doing it for a while. You know what they're doing. Some fast lads there, so hopefully I can get in the mix with them and have some fun. And that's the main thing. Just want to get out, get in there and have some fun. It's been a long time coming, so we're nearly there. I'll probably do a small vid just before, when it's completely ready with the tank on and running and stuff. Obviously the screen's not on yet either, and you know, just get it running and stuff, and do a quick video before the race, which is the 6th of June. So it's like it's Tuesday the 25th of May now, so it's like just under 2 weeks away. So yeah, and it's, from what I gather, it's loads of full grids, which is great to see. Loads of people getting out there and racing, so that's going to be fun. Nice packed grids. So yeah, thanks to the people, I haven't got a chance to do this obviously, thanks to people that have been liking the page on the Facebook, on the Instagram and all that kind of stuff. Thanks for following. I know there's people out there who are interested in this kind of thing and stuff, and that's why I thought I'd do it and kind of document it. And I should have done better. I'm shit at it really, to be honest. I'm not a good like vlogger, so I don't, like, I'll do loads of work and then not do a video or a picture or anything. I'm a bit of a dickhead like that, so hopefully I'll be better at that. And it's kind of a task I've given to my brother to kind of like say, well, we'll just, when we're at the track, video something, take a picture of something, and you know, just to keep some content on there, because this stuff's like quite interesting in that. So yeah, so thanks again. Check back, you know, if you see this video, give it a like or whatever, and then I'll speak to you guys very soon. Thanks.